Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds in 3 years. If you'd like to join the family, hit that subscribe button down below. Also, make sure you click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to participate on the discussion, you can join me most weekdays where I go live on YouTube or outside of my live stream. You can consider joining the Discord that I created. There's a link for that down in the description below. Also down in the description below is a link to a Facebook page that I've created that you could join. And finally, a link down below to a Pinterest board where it has a lot of our family's favorite whole food plant-based meals. Today is day 846 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food plant-based salt, oil, sugar-free diet to lose over 240 pounds so far. I have a little over 8 months left to go on my challenge. I'm very excited to reach my goal weight and spend the rest of my life at a healthy weight. If anybody has any non-scale victories, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. If you have any on-scale victories, I love hearing those as well. If you are struggling with your diet, what is causing some of your struggles? If you're succeeding, what's causing some of your successes? Let us know. And at the end of the day, what are some things that you're going to do that will make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? Let's go ahead, switch over to the main here. Hello, Cindy and Our Tiny Acres and Pretty Girl's Mom and Carrie and Tennis and Yoga Girl. Hello, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful evening and a great day. We're getting ready for the weekend here. The weather should be okay for the weekend. It's been a little rough here this past couple weeks. Our Tiny Acres here says, you're doing good on your food, but stress has caused your gut to act up and makes it hard to do things. Yeah, I feel like maybe I've been stressed more the last couple weeks too. And I've noticed that I've had some bloating and things like that. But as long as you're keeping the food on plan and on target, you know, over time, the rest of those things will work themselves out. The stress will go away and you'll start to rebound or you'll get back from that. So I hope you're able to figure out what's causing your stress and then go from there. Let's see. Oh, it says, oh, it's caused your gout to act up. What did I say? I say gut. Okay. So I missed what you said there. Okay, but your gout is acting up. That sucks. I've not had that issue, so I'm not sure how best to deal with it, but I hope that you're able to get through it here. Yes, gout, not gut. Yes. The stress is because your sister's brain cancer is coming back, and that's so awful that you're having to deal with those things. And just do your best to get through them and to stay compliant on the diet. And like I said, hopefully the rest of the things will work themselves out, or you'll be able to get through them, at your, it sucks though that she's dealing with that cancer coming back. Let's see, for us last night, we had, parent teacher conferences. So we went and talked to the teachers and learned about how amazing our children are at the school. It was very nice to go and do the conferences. One of the things that kind of pops up in my mind when I think about going to these school events or going to these things is that they are definitely things that I would not have been looking forward to attending. I would have potentially tried to avoid it. My one kid his teacher is somebody that I graduated high school with. So I have this weird kind of like, how would it have been if I was 520 pounds or heavier, like how comfortable would I be, or what would I be thinking going and seeing them? Because that's constantly a mental thing, when you think about, the last time somebody saw you and what did I weigh when they last saw me, and now they're going to see me and I'm 200 pounds heavier than the last time they, from when they remember me. So now their memory of me is going to be of that, 500-pound person. And I don't have that kind of thing. And in fact, now when I think of seeing people from high school, I think, oh, well, I'm as light or lighter than I was when I graduated high school. So it's, I'm not ashamed, or I don't feel embarrassed to have those people see me or to see those people. So, that was something that having those conferences last night, not just having a teacher that I graduated with, but the kids go to a school that a lot of my former classmates have kids and have kids in that school. So there's always a good chance that I'm going to run into somebody I know. And it's much nicer to run into those people now after I've lost the 200 pounds, and I feel much more confident about myself and feel better about them, or seeing those people again. So that was last night, kind of kept us busy, or kept us doing stuff all afternoon, and then just had work and regular stuff today. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my food here. I had it all pulled up already, and then I got talking. So we're gonna most of the people that, our Tiny Acres here says most of the people you knew saw you at your heaviest, and now they see you losing it. And that's what I'm hoping to do. I wish that I could go back and write a list of everybody I've seen since high school and be like, okay, now see me now. Like, you saw me when I was 400 pounds. You saw me when I was 500 pounds. Now see me when I'm 250 or 275. See me as I'm losing the weight. That's what my hope is. That eventually I run into all those people, or they see photos of me throughout the years losing the weight. So food since yesterday, let me pull this up. We had a wonderful dinner last night. It was Spanish rice. We had no beans with it, but Carrie did throw some spinach in there to give it a little bit of more, that green leafy vegetables, just to add it to the diet. And this was a great meal last night. I really enjoyed it. Ended up having like a serving and a half of it, or a bowl and a half of it. So it was a great dinner that we had last night. And then after we got back from the parent-teacher conferences, we had the dessert that we've been enjoying quite a bit since we started doing the Chef AJ reboot. This is the cobbler that she has on her reboot. It's a pretty simple recipe to make. It's just some fruit, oatmeal, a couple bananas, and a few seasonings that we throw together to make the cobbler. So that was dessert last night. Then today for food, started my morning off with some broccoli here. Have been eating a lot of broccoli recently and enjoying it. In fact, somebody at work today made a comment about how much broccoli we must go through in a week. And we're like, yes, we definitely go through a lot of broccoli throughout the week. But thankfully, it's not really that expensive, or it's not like as expensive as some things that we could be eating regular here. Our Tiny Acre says your husband is out getting raised beds ready for the coming gardening season, even though you can't help him, and it's very cold out. Yes, I know it's getting to that season where if you are into gardening, to get the things planted and get them ready. We have never got into the gardening. We tried to a little bit in the beginning of 2020, but we have not gotten into it. And it looks yummy. This looks yummy. The broccoli you had kale, cucumber, and broccoli salad. That sounds wonderful, and it sounds very light and refreshing. Carrie says, that's awesome. Our tiny acres. She wishes that we were gardeners. Maybe when the kids get a bit older and we have less going on. But yeah, we tried to get into it a little bit in 2020 and did not. We have the space to do it. And we do have a lot of fruit trees and fruit available on our, in our yard. So that's something that's really nice. And then, yeah, our tiny acre says you had snow on the ground yesterday. Yeah, it's been really cold up here. Thankfully, there's not much snow on the ground. I know if you go just a little bit further north of us, it got hit really hard though. So, yeah, it's melting quick, and spring's going to be here before we know it. Carrie's asking if you put anything on that salad that you make with the kale, cucumber, and broccoli. And then you said, our tiny acres said that your garden is most of your yard. Yeah. We could do a lot better at gardening, or we could do a lot with gardening if we got into it. But with broccoli being 99 cents a bag, I don't know if it's worth it to start growing broccoli. But this was breakfast today. Then the second half of breakfast was our savory oatmeal. This is a combination of oat groats and steel cut oats with mushrooms, onions, and spinach mixed in, a little bit of West soy milk. And then for lunch today, I had another steamer bag of broccoli with potatoes for lunch today. Let's see, you put in that salad you make, our tiny acre says that you made a dressing, but you put too much vinegar in it. Yes, it's unfortunate that you put too much vinegar. It can ruin something very easily, and then it's hard to get rid of that flavor, or hard to dilute that out. Broccolini is much easier to grow than broccoli. That would be, yeah, I imagine that there's a lot of things that are easier to grow depending on the climate and the conditions you have. We're very fortunate that we have these grocery stores that we can go get food from. That is not something that's easy for us to make ourselves. Let's see. Today I did post a video on my YouTube page talking about a little bit about binge eating. It's something where I've seen a lot of videos recently talking, or I feel like I've seen a lot of videos recently talking about binge eating and binge eating disorder. And while I think that people can have some disordered eating, I think overall many of us that blame our obesity on having a binge eating disorder is that it's very much that we just have a natural tendency or a natural drive to eat a larger volume of food than most people. And when we focus on the calorie count, we don't look at the volume of food that we're eating. And eating a much larger volume of food and lowering the calorie density can help give people that solution that they're looking for. Cindy here says that along the back steps of their yard that are out of your kitchen, you've lined it with 7 pots for growing herbs, and it's fun and easy to do. See, Carrie, it's fun and easy to do. So just grab some pots and we'll grow some herbs. I think we did try doing sprouts a little bit. We've dabbled with a little bit of this stuff, but we've never really got into growing or taking care of them ourselves. We've just kind of, like I said, touched on it or done little bits of it. I think the thing that we probably spent the most time cultivating over the past couple years is that for a while we had a sourdough starter going. I know that's completely different. But that seemed like that was a lot of effort to make sure that that was continuing to produce sourdough and to not kill it and things like that. So, Cindy says, yeah, Carrie, get to work. So, So yeah, I posted that video today. And then hello, Christy. You made it. Yes, you did make it. And let's see. And I guess the topic I wanted to talk about, and it kind of feeds off of the video I posted, but you know, there's two halves of this equation. One half of this equation is losing the weight, and the other half of the equation is keeping the weight off. Ron here says that you do sprouts regularly as it doesn't involve getting your hands dirty. There you go. But the two halves of the equation, the one half is losing it, the other half is keeping it off. And I realized that over the years, I've known this over the years too, is that I'm pretty good at getting weight off, or about losing the weight. The difficult part for me has always been the keeping the weight off, you know, and I've had lots of experiences over the past 20 years where I have worked at losing the weight. Every time I think back of, like, I can remember the times where I succeeded in losing large amounts of weight. When I was a sophomore in college, I was taking a pill program that had ephedra in it, and I lost a bunch of weight. In 2009, I lost a bunch of weight. 2013, I lost a bunch of weight. And all of those times that I lost weight, I felt like I was doing great and I was losing weight really quickly, and I was committed to it. And while I was committed, I was very successful. But that was the problem, is that while I was committed to it, I was very successful. It's when I was no longer able to be committed to it because my body wouldn't let me continue on, that those diets would start to fail, because they were all really based around, you know, this idea of reducing my calories and increasing my energy output. And that's the basis for the calories in, calories out, or the CECO dieting. And losing weight can be maybe solved with that CECO equation, but it doesn't address the maintaining the weight loss and the keeping the weight off and the living the rest of your life. It's much more complicated than, you know, successful, sustainable weight loss is much more complicated than just the calories in, calorie out model. And, you know, I feel like I've known that, and so much of us know that those diets are only going to be successful while we're on the diet. It's not until after you've reached your goal, and then that's when you're going to switch your diet, or you're going to eat a different way. Well, if the way you're eating to lose weight is different than what you're eating to keep the weight off, then you're going to have to relearn everything again, because the diets aren't sustainable. They're not made to be sustainable. They're made to lose weight. And so that's why I think it's so important to change the focus of not, you know, not how many calories you're eating, but what's the quality of those calories that you're eating. You know, the diets that I think of when I lost all that weight, you know, I was eating plain bagels and eating candy bars and Pringles, and, you know, I was just reducing my volume to next to nothing, but I wasn't improving the quality of food that I was eating, because I was more concerned about continuing to get that dopamine response from my food than I was about actually fixing my diet. Hey, Janet, hope you're doing great. When the focus is on this reducing calories, it generally becomes to reduce volume and to eat moderately, or eat in moderation. And it's not a sustainable way to lose weight. It's not, it's great for the initial weight loss, but when you want to see that weight still be gone, if you want to see that weight still be gone a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, you need to be eating a diet that allows you to sustain that weight. And low volume diets are unsustainable. Our bodies won't let us continue to eat that low volume over time. It's something where you can do it for a month, 2 months, 6 months, 9 months, but eventually your body's going to do everything it can to get you to change, to get you to start eating more calories, to start bringing the volume in. And when you need, then that's, if you're losing weight by eating some keto diet or some crazy diet and you've gotten to your goal weight and you're looking and you're trying to figure out how to maintain that weight loss, well, start switching to eating the plant-based diet. Start switching to eat a diet where the calorie density of your food is lower than 600 calories per pound. You're going out to work in the garden. There you go. It's very popular today. It's gardening weather. It's really hard to fight that kind of mentality that has been ingrained in us for years and years. The idea that I just need to eat less food and I'll start losing weight. It's something where if it worked, there would be a lot more people out there that are showing off the benefits or the success from eating in moderation. But all these diets, they all surround themselves by eating in moderation, and they all end up having the same success rate. And it's very close to nothing. And so you need to ditch the calories in, calorie out mentality. You need to change the quality of the calories that you're putting in. And if you make the calories much lower dense calories, then even if you're following that calories in, calories out model, you're still going to be able to satisfy yourself with a larger volume of food because of eating lower calorie density. And I really think that that's our bodies respond to pounds of food, not ounces of food, but pounds of food. So we need to measure our food in pounds and not in ounces. I did in the video, I talked about the potato chips and the corn chips. I was so amazed at the weight difference and the calorie difference. Like a serving of corn chips is 1 ounce. So it would be 16 servings to get to a pound of those corn chips. And at 140 calories per pound, it was over 2,000 calories that they took corn, which is less than 400 calories per pound, and they turned it into something that is over 2,000 calories per pound. And our bodies just are not meant to consume that level of calories. Like there's nothing in nature that's 2,400 calories per pound. There's nothing that our ancestors from 1,000 years ago had access to that was 2,000 calories plus per pound. Cindy here says that you've done the yo-yo dieting for years. When you went whole food plant-based, it's the only time that you learned about calorie density. Yeah, I didn't understand or know about calorie density even when I started this channel. It wasn't until I was nearly 20 days in that I really started to hear or see anything about calorie density. And it's really the main principle that's driven my diet, this volume eating and this calorie density. And I've known it for years that I've been bottomless, and like I said, you need in the video, if you're bottomless, fill the pit up. Just change the food that you're filling the pit with. If you're filling it with greasy, calorie-dense foods, change it to salads and fruits and vegetables. And Our Tiny Acre says it doesn't take much processing to change the density. No, it really doesn't take a whole lot. And these companies have gotten really good at hiding these calories and showing, that they adjust the calorie size or the serving size so that they can keep the calories down, but the density of the food is way different. There's a while back, I did a comparison between shredded wheat, Cheerios, and Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And when you look at the nutrition labels, the shredded wheat is listed as being the most caloric of the three based on the servings. But if you look at the weight, the grams that are in each serving, the weight of the Cinnamon Toast Crunch was 2.5 or 3 times the weight of the weight of the shredded wheat per serving was 3 times that of the weight of the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And that's how they were able to show that the Cinnamon Toast Crunch had fewer calories per serving, because the calories were based off of a cup. It wasn't based off of a weight measurement. It was based off of a volume or a size measurement. So they do that so that you don't realize how unhealthy the Cinnamon Toast Crunch really is for you when comparing it to the shredded wheat. But that processing they do, that sugar they add to it, the chemicals they add to it to help bind it together and creates a larger kind of looking volume. But once you get it wet and you ball it all up or chew it up in your mouth, it really packs down into a much smaller volume of food than if you ate the shredded wheat. And then Pretty Girl's mom says, but we're addicted to the processed food. Yes, we are addicted to the processed foods. They want us to be addicted to us, and they have to make us believe that it's okay to have those items in moderation, because if we realized or if we knew that it is best to abstain from those products, then we would never buy them. So they need you to believe that it's okay in moderation. And if you can't moderate yourself, it's your fault that you can't moderate yourself. It has nothing to do with the millions of dollars that they had spent to chemically engineer the food to make it more addictive or make it more attractive than their competitors' product. It has nothing to do with them. It's your fault that you can't moderate. Cindy says you were listening to Dr. Lisle on the summit yesterday, and he was stressing how important it is to lose weight over a long period of time and not expect quick results. Yes, that's the whole basis of my challenge, was to do this over a long period of time, because I got sick of seeing the quick results followed by quick failure. I wanted to see long-lasting results followed by long-lasting success. And so, yes, it's been a different change in my focus. And, every other diet that I've done before or in the past, the focus was, how fast can I lose the weight? How fast can I get it off my body? And now, I want it off fast, but now it's more about, what do I have to do to keep getting it off my body and to keep it from coming back? We focus so much on the losing the weight. We don't think about how we're going to keep the weight off after we've lost it. Again, it's that second half of the equation. It's getting the weight off. I can generally do it very quickly. It's keeping the weight off that I'm never able to do. Let's see. Pretty Girl's mom says you love Dr. Lisle, and absolutely, it's not our fault, the lack of being able to moderate. And then Carrie says it's slow going, but we're gonna get there. Yeah, and me not having a great weight loss this week really kind of pushes that whole, my timeline for getting to my goal weight by the 3 years is going to become more difficult when I have weigh-ins like this past week. But I really gave up on the being upset if I fail my challenge, by the 3 years, because to do over again, maybe I should have challenged myself to lose 300 pounds in 4 years or 5 years, or maybe it should have been lose 300 pounds in 10 years, and then really pushing myself to maintain that weight loss, because it is, the goal when I started was to lose the weight in the 3 years, but the ultimate goal was that 7 years after the 3 years, I was still a healthy weight, or 10, another 20 years after the 3 years, I'm still a healthy weight. Like the challenge was about losing the weight, but it was so much more at the time, I thought, was about maintaining and keeping that weight off. Because when I started this challenge, I really thought that I would have the 300 pounds off at this point. I thought that I would be at my goal weight and I would be doing the maintenance right now. And what has changed in my mentality is that I've been on the maintenance this whole time. The diet that I'm eating to get to my goal weight is the diet that I'm going to eat the rest of my life. And Sydney here says it's about the health and the weight loss will happen. Yeah. When I started this, it was definitely about the weight loss. And I think Chef AJ made a comment, I could title a book, it turned into the pursuit of health. Like that's really what it turned into. It was definitely focused on weight loss though. Like that was my goal to going into this. And, it's great. I'm so happy that my mentality and this has changed. Carrie's asking, do I incorporate any time of fasting, such as 1 meal a day? I do not. I have played with it a bit. Not so much 1 meal a day. It was something, I was actually watching a video I have a few video clips from before I started doing this challenge that I was looking at one of those and I was talking about like, I'm going to do a fast and then I'm going to go into rolling fast and I'm going to start doing 1 meal a day. I never really got into it. I'm really a big fan of eating when I'm hungry right now, just focusing on eating lower calorie dense foods. But something that I did do over the past month is I kind of put brackets on my food, as far as I didn't really start eating breakfast, or I haven't been eating my breakfast till after 9:30 in the morning. And then I haven't done a great job at cutting myself off at night, but that would be something that I could do to help with weight loss. But right now I'm just eating what makes me happy, what makes me satisfied. I don't want to be chronically under eating, because it's really not how I've lost the weight so far. So far I've been able to lose the weight by continuing to eat a large volume of food. But I would, if I get concerned about it, or if I want to see the weight go down quicker, I would just continue to change that calorie density. I would add in more non-starchy vegetables and get rid of some of the things that are maybe higher in calorie that we are eating right now, which isn't a lot, but there's probably something we could give up. But I don't incorporate any type of fasting. I think that if you can do it and be satisfied, that's great. But for me to eat 1 meal a day and be satisfied, the amount of food I'd have to eat would be, that 1 meal would be 2 hours long, I think, for me. So yeah, we got the weekend coming up. I don't really have any super big plans for the weekend. I'm not sure. Carrie was trying to get me to do something. I'll figure it out. I'll remember later. Cindy's asking, when you reach your goal, will your diet look the same as it is now? Absolutely. I think that's what has to happen. I think that that's what I kind of did a lot of learning over the second year. And that's the second year here, my weight loss slowed down. And I started finding excuses to go and eat out at a vegan restaurant, or we would order vegan pizza once every couple weeks, and we would have some of those processed foods in our diet. And what I think I was doing subconsciously when I was doing that was I was trying out foods that I assumed were going to be foods that I would eat when I got to my goal weight. Oh, when I get to my goal weight, I'll start having vegan pizza, or I get to my goal weight, I'll start having Impossible burgers. And uh, what happened when I would do that, and even just dabbling in it, just having it once a week or once every couple weeks, is it stopped my weight loss, and it put, it really kind of put the brakes on it. And it's not unless I'm completely compliant that I'm seeing the weight come off. And even at being completely compliant, I don't know that there might be a chance I can't get to 220 while being completely compliant, but it's something that I think Dr. Fuhrman said, or Chef AJ mentioned multiple times throughout this Truth About Weight Loss Summit, is that successful weight loss, reaching that goal weight, is being that 100% compliant. Being 90% compliant isn't going to get me there. Like, being 100% compliant is what's going to get me there. And once I get there, the only way I'm going to be able to stay there is by continuing to be 100% compliant. The one of the things I said when I started this was that I need to figure out how a 220-pound version of myself eats, because I've never eaten that way. I've only eaten the way a 500-pound version of myself eats, or a 90-pound version of me eats. But I've never eaten how I need to eat to maintain a healthy weight. And that's what this 3-year challenge has been about. It's been about me finding a way to eat a satisfying amount of food and maintain a healthy weight. So I don't see any changes to my diet between now and when I get to a healthy weight. The only things I can think of right now is the avocado is something that I haven't had, that I guess would be maybe something I could entertain having more of. Sorry, I just had a noise over here. Uh, Avocado, or like more nuts in my diet. But no, I'm going to be eating a whole food plant-based diet. I'm going to be eating a salt, oil, sugar-free diet. And that's going to be the basis, I think, for the rest of my life. It's the way it's got to be, though. Like, if I want to lose the weight and keep it off, I have to eat that way, because that's going to be the only way I can continue to eat a satisfying amount of food and not eat so much food that I gain weight. Let's see. Pretty Girl's mom says, even if it should take another year from now, you think it'd be okay? Yeah, and I am so much healthier on the inside now than I was 2 years ago. And even if I were eating enough calories as on a whole food plant-based diet to keep me at 277.4 pounds, I am so much healthier, and I will continue to be healthier than what the other version of me eating that crap food would be. Like, even if I don't lose a pound, the quality of the food that I put in my body is far superior than the quality of food I used to put into my body. And that will help me, that makes me healthier just in general, or just overall. Our Tiny Acres here says, you're visiting a friend and getting 2 chairs she's giving you tomorrow, but most of time will be home resting your foot and planting seeds. Yeah, to get that cleared up. And then our Tiny Acre says 1 non-compliant meal does quite a number on your track. Yeah, and it does on my track too. You know, I thought maybe I could manage it. I thought maybe it was doable, and it's not as long as I'm continuing to try to lose weight. Like, that's the mode I'm in right now, is the lose weight mode. And so all of my decisions need to be towards weight loss. And that's why I stay compliant. That's why I focus on staying compliant. Carrie says, you like to think that this is just how we eat. The price we pay for food, eating something with oil and salt is not worth it. We have tried that, and you'd feel bad for days when indulging in vegan junk food. Yeah, having that processed food, having that extra oil, that extra calorie count, we feel it physically. We feel it in our bodies. And it really helps to, it's great to not introduce it into my body either too, because that's something that, if you go back and watch my live streams over the course of the second year, there's multiple times where I've like recommit, and like 6 days later, I'm like, oh my God, I feel so amazing. I didn't even realize that the food that I was eating had brought my mood down, but now that I'm free of it for 7 days, I feel amazing again. And so I'm happy to stay compliant here. Cindy says 100% in 100% of the time. You don't get the concept of moderation or just dipping a toe into the pond at the time. Yes. Right. Like, that's been huge, is 100% compliance. And it's worth it to do it, is the thing. Like, I think that might be what people are worried about, is that it's not worth it, but it's worth it. The way I feel is absolutely worth it. And then our Tiny Acres says, the difference in me over a year, there's been a lot of growth in me. Thank you. And Carrie says, right, Cindy, all in. Yeah, it's been great. When we're all in, that's when I feel the best, when I see the best results, and that's what I'm going to keep doing. Let's see. I think that's about all I have for today. I really appreciate you guys checking out my live stream. If you haven't had a chance to check out that video that I posted, make sure you go on, check out the video I posted. And I will be back on Monday. Yes, Cindy, enjoy the weekend. Everybody enjoy the weekend. Go out and try to get some of that gardening done. Everybody's got to get their gardens ready. Let me know how your gardening's going. If you have not hit that subscribe button, though, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you've not clicked on the bell icon to get alerted when I go live and post new videos, make sure you do that. If you've not liked this video, comment down below. What are you planting in your garden this weekend? And maybe that garden is your diet garden. What are you going to get going on your diet, right? Because last but not least, if you have not started your diet yet, get started right now. There's nothing coming up that is more important than your health and your overall well-being. Nobody gets to their goals, looks back, and wishes they would have waited. So get started now, guys. You will be so happy with yourself if you do. And we will see you on Monday.